Hello guys, it's Nicola here, and we're gonna be talking about managing the company managed and team managed projects. So let us begin. The first and foremost, we're gonna start with the company managed projects, and right from the get-go, this is a company managed Kanban board. So with the company managed projects, you're gonna have more options. So that is the first thing that you're going to notice. The second thing that you're going to also notice is company managed projects actually have these quick filters in here. Team managed projects, they actually have the custom filters. Now, if you actually go here and create a company managed project, and I'm just gonna name this task 1, I'm gonna click on create. So these are right here are the columns for the board that we're actually having. This is the issue that we have created. We can actually move this issue, and now as you can see, now it's showing me what do I have in here. So I have two options that I've been getting for selected for development. And why actually we are seeing this? We're actually seeing this because we have something that is called the transition that is being applied to this very issue creation. So don't worry about this, just ignore this. This is something that you're not gonna be seeing. Rather, when we actually get this back, you're gonna see this. So you're gonna be immediately able to switch between the columns. Our main focus is this right here. So in company managed projects, you can have multiple boards. And when I say multiple boards, when we go for creating the board, multiple boards either are going to be Scrum or that are going to be Kanban. So I can go and let's say I want a Kanban board again. I have three options in here. When I select board created with the new software project, that means a new project will be created, adding this board into it. Also, board from an existing project, so this means that this will apply the board for this specific project. And also board from an existing saved filter. Now, filters themselves that are using the JQL filters. So that is one thing that you can actually have. So I'm gonna select board in here from an existing project, and I have different options in here. So I can now, what I can actually do, I can create in my company managed project another board. Now, in a team managed project, why the project that is being called team managed is not appearing here? It's not appearing because team managed projects can only have one board, and that's it. No more than one board. So I'm gonna create a board here, and I'm going to create and name it second board. Gonna click on create, and when I click on create, I have the second board. Now when I click on this arrow right here, I'm gonna see this that says company the boards in the company managed project. So now I'm gonna go back to my CM board, and I am actually here. Now we have this option to configure the board. So this is going to be different for your team managed and your company managed projects. In your company managed project, you can define what is going to be the name of the board, which is required, who are going to be your board administrators. Who are the board administrators? The board administrators are actually the ones who can access all of these features in here. They can configure and make changes to the boards. So that is important to know. Who are the board administrators? Then we have the location, and for the location you want this to be your project where the board needs to be shown. Also, you have the board filter. So this is actually pretty important, because without the filter themselves there wouldn't be any boards. Why? Because boards are only the visual representation of the filters. So this board is based on the filter for CM board, and the filter query for this, which this actually is the JQL query, it says project equals to CM order by rank ascending order. Most of the time when the boards are being created, when you create a new project, this is going to be something that you're going to see, and it's going to have this default query right here. So if you actually now click on the filter details, first of all, what we are actually gonna see here are the projects in board, and we're gonna see the project, which is the company managed project, and the permissions. When we actually click this, we are gonna be redirected to the permission scheme that this specific company managed project is being using. So company managed projects do have permission schemes, while team managed projects do not have the permissions schemes at all. So there's no that. Then we have issue ranking on the board. What actually basically this is? By default, this is actually turned on, and issue ranking is nothing more. Let's say you have 3 issues, right? So if we go back to our board, and I'm gonna click create. I'm gonna go with the task 2, and I'm gonna go with the task number 3, and I'm gonna move this back. So now I have like 1, 2, and 3. Now this is actually ranking on the issues. It's just moving the issues around. Of course, for this you need to have permissions. The question is, what kind of permissions? 2 permissions. One is to schedule the issues, and the second is editing the issues. So this is the combination of permissions that are needed in order to rank the issues. So let's go back. This is something also that is really important, and it comes to the permissions. Now we can edit the permissions in here. This is gonna be by default, right? So by default, the viewers is going to be the whole project, and the editors are gonna be on the private. So this really depends on how this needs to be changed. If the editors are going to be the stakeholders or your board administrators that are going to be adding to the project, you can actually change them in here. Board subfilter. Now, I want to mention that the board subfilter and the completed issues are only showing in the company managed Kanban boards. These two are not going to be shown in the Scrum company managed projects. So this is only for the Kanban. Board subfilters are actually there to show lesser issues, to further refine your issues. And by default, this is going to be your subfilter query. Of course, you can change this subfilter query, but you need to be careful with this, because you don't want this to be in the conflict with your main filter, so you want to watch out for this. And also for the completed issues, this means that you can change in here and say your issues on the board is going to be for 1 week or 2 weeks. After that, they're going to be removed from the board automatically. So this is why this feature is here. If we actually go for the columns right now, so what do we need to know here? First of all, we have columns and the statuses. So we saw the columns, right? Now, where the statuses are actually in here, the statuses are being defined in your workflows. So workflows are tied with the status. So if a certain workflow doesn't have the status, it's not gonna be shown on the board column. Pretty logical, right? So these two are tied together. The another thing that we also have are the column constraints. When it comes to the column constraints, we have this issue count, and this is the column constraint right here for the minimum and the maximum. In team managed projects, you have only one constraint, and that is for the maximum issue counts. Now, you can choose here, and I can say I don't want to have any constraints in here. When I select this, the minimum and the maximum fields are gone. They're not longer there. So what else do we have in here? So these right here are your statuses, and now what we actually see in the backlog status, we have 3 issues. Selected for development is 0, in progress is also 0, and the done is 0 as well. Now we have swim lanes. Swim lanes in company managed projects are being used to group your issues. Now, when it comes to swim lanes, by default, they're going to be selected for the swim lane itself to be based on the JQL. How this actually works, so we can say, let's say only, only tasks, right? In the JQL queries, and we're gonna say issue type, and for the issue type we're gonna say equals to, and we are looking for task. I'm gonna click on create. When we're done with this, we go back to the board. As you can see right now, we have only tasks that are being shown in here. If we create an issue type of a bug and say bug, it's gonna be shown in here where it says everything else. Now it's stating that this is indeed a bug. So if we now go back, now it's saying everything expedite, and name of swim lane of other issues, it's saying everything else. So it says all issues that are not grouped by queries will appear in this swim lane, just like here. You can change this method to either be the swim lanes for stories, assignee, epics, projects, or no swim lanes at all. Quick filters. So as you saw, the quick filters are actually being used, and we already have chosen the quick filters. So I'm gonna show you how it works. I'm gonna go for this issue. I'm gonna assign this to myself, and I'm gonna select only my issues. When I do this, I'm going to only see one issue because the quick filter has been applied to this board, and that's why I only see one. And as we saw, the quick filters for only my issues is based where the assignee is the current logged in user. card colors. So for the card colors, this is actually pretty great in order to distinguish the issues based on different colors. So this can be on issue types, priorities, assignee, queries. This is actually pretty interesting. If you want, your team to be really more focused visually and actually see the changes, so you can use this as well. Card layouts, add more fields to cards on your board or the backlog itself. You can actually do this. You can add up to 3 fields in here. So what I can do is, let's say I'm gonna add an assignee right here. And now what do I actually see in here for the card layout? It's gonna show my full name right here. And as you can see, when I hover over, I can see the assignee, and I can also see the priority. This is the issue key, and this is what I also see, the assignee. So this is how the card layouts are being used. Working days, I believe you're not gonna be using this enough, and timelines as well. By default, most of the boards have the timelines. Alright, so now this is everything for company managed projects. For team managed projects, they're much more lightweight than the company managed ones. The thing is that this right here, this is like a team managed Scrum project, and as you can see, it's much more simplified. And when I go here, what I can actually do is I can edit the sprint, right? So I can select the sprint that I want to edit here. So this is something that I can add. I can select the start date, I can select the end date as well. I can change these 2 things if I want. I can update it. Also, I can manage the workflow. When I go to manage the workflow, I'm gonna be redirected to this workflow editor right here. So I can start editing this workflow right from the get-go, and this workflow will only be applied to this specific project. So for team managed projects, all of the changes that you make will be only applied to them. In company managed projects, this could be tricky because maybe that one workflow is being shared with 5 other projects. That means if you make a change on that one workflow that shares the workflow with the other projects, those workflows are gonna be changed as well. We don't want that. So that's why you would need to, the best practice is to make the copy of that for all of those projects. To make the copy, because unless you want to start everything from scratch, it's better to make a copy, and then just when you make the copy of a workflow, you add a workflow scheme, you connect that workflow scheme with your workflow, and you apply it to your project. One project, of course, you're gonna do for the rest of those, and they need to be different. And that's how you actually do it, which is actually a good thing. In team managed projects, it's not like that. So it looks like this. You make change for this team managed project, and basically that's it. Okay. Let me go back to project. If I go to manage the custom fields, I can create a custom fields, custom filters. So it's different. It's almost the same like quick filters on company managed, but for team managed, they're gonna be shown in as the checkboxes. So that's what you need to know. Configuring the board, the only option that you have when you're configuring this are these columns right here. You also have the custom filters, and then you have cards over images. What actually this is, basically this is when you add one image to your issue in team managed projects, that issue fills up the whole card. So yeah, That is how it works. Also, you have for the timeline and the insights as well. Alright, everyone, that is everything that you need to know about managing both company and team managed boards. Thank you.